from your mind to your fingers. Gandhi once said, "Man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If I keep on saying to myself that I cannot do a certain thing, it's possible that I may end up by really becoming incapable of doing it. On the contrary, if I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have it at the beginning." Practicing is at the root of everything that we do as performers. It is the obvious underpinning towards having a solid mental performance, towards having solid mental performance preparation, towards not letting our anxiety interfere with our performances. Our practicing has a direct relationship with our ability to achieve our goals as violinists. So, as I did in my Search Of book, I will try, through the use of my research, through my experience, to clarify my thoughts on what I think is one of the most interesting, fascinating things as violinists that we can explore. That being the learning of how to practice more efficiently, how to become more effective through our practicing in our performances. First of all, we need to observe, we need to explore seeing, feeling, and hearing the music. By this I mean that we use our visual, seeing, oral, hearing, and tactile, feeling, touch. That we use these senses to understand the musical environment. It is here that we need to discover, understand, and shape phrases, design phrases. So let's define a phrase as being the smallest musical unit which conveys a more or less complete musical thought. The student must be able to recognize phrasing in the work to allow for the later coherent organizational strategy to be developed. We need to observe the movements created when performing. For example, we need to observe the patterns created in our left hand when playing the notes. Observing the physical patterns created when playing the music requires chunking the left hand. Those finger patterns. Half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole, half, and whole, whole, or half, 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 or like Spock. By chunking them, comprehension is increased as we cease to learn them note to note, but group or pattern to pattern. This will also make the rhythm to bowing connection more manageable as well. We should as well observe the movement of our elbow when crossing strings in the right hand, or changing strings, or moving upward with the left hand. We need to create strategies to memorize the movements we have observed, as it is here that the work of learning begins. It's here that repetitive practice is used as we both learn a phrase and memorize it at the same time. It is during this work that a vertical strategy is the most useful, where incremental learning tools need to be developed and implemented. Finally, we need to create tactics, which are the steps you take to implement the strategies we have just created through our observations. All of this requires the ability to problem solve. Why don't you look at my list? First of all, we need to identify the problem area. Now we need to define the elements of the problem. Let's explore these elements and determine the root cause of the problem. We will as well need to develop strategies to address the problem. Now, we need to translate those strategies into physical realities. Finally, we must rehearse those physical realities into reflexes. So you see, in doing these things, I believe that the following would be created. First of all, belief. I believe that practicing should lead to the creation of belief. We should use this belief to know what we want, visualize what we want in as rich a way as possible. We should create and use affirmations such as, I absolutely have the power to create the change needed in my playing. Doing these affirmations would help us to deal with any internal objections to our belief. I guess the bottom line is, if we expect to achieve something and believe it will occur, then it will. As I used to tell my students a lot, practicing is about erasing doubt. This allows us to create goals, to explore goal setting. Goals should be set for each work studied. Subsequently, daily goals should depend on what you need to do at the time to reach your performance goals. And should also be set for each practicing day. Goal setting increases focus, motivation, direction, feelings of success, and self-confidence. Goals focus the performer's attention and action on the important aspects of the task. They help the performer to mobilize their efforts. By setting a series of goals, a violinist will exhibit greater effort in attempting to achieve these personal objectives. Goals help prolong effort and increase persistence, as well as immediate effort, as you might lose intensity and focus during a practice session. Increasing persistence with a number of short-range goals can help you through those let-down periods. Here are some thoughts about setting goals. Set specific goals. Your performance goals must be clear and well-defined. Vague or generalized goals are unhelpful as they don't provide sufficient direction. Set measurable goals. Be as precise as possible, avoiding statements like, I want to get this piece in tune, for example. This is way too large and lacks clarity. Your precision in articulating the goal will allow you to measure your degree of success. Set attainable goals. Make sure that it's possible to achieve the goals you set. If you set a goal that you have no hope of achieving, you will only demoralize yourself and thus erode your confidence. By setting realistic yet challenging goals, you hit the balance you need, and this will allow you to try and raise the bar. Set relevant goals. Goals should be relevant to the direction you want your performance goals to take. By keeping goals aligned with this direction, you develop the focus you need to get ahead and realize the performance goals that you are trying to achieve. Set time-bound goals. Your goals must have a deadline. When you are working on a deadline, your ability to focus increases, allowing for a clearer, quicker path towards their achievement. The physical act of writing down a goal makes it real and tangible. This will hopefully leave you no room to alter them or procrastinate. All of what I've said till now should help us to see, determine, clarify our performance vision. As once this vision is in place, we will be able to formulate the overall strategy that will guide us towards the realization of our performance vision.